You know, sometimes our last reveal at the Game Awards is a teaser for something years and years away. But not tonight. Our final world premiere comes from 61 members of the team that built Apex Legends and Titanfall. 4 years ago, the principals founded a new independent studio with the hopes of pushing the shooter genre forward with a new original game. They've done it in complete secrecy, which is even more amazing because the game is very deep into development. The power of independent, self-published studios to push this medium forward is a growing and I think positive theme in our industry. And so tonight, you're not only going to get the announcement of the game, but also your first look at the gameplay. I've played it, and after you see this trailer, I think you're going to want to as well.
Player, Jeff. That's not how you sell a game. Listen here, player. Daddy Pete's here. That's right, the one and only Pete Rossman. You might have all known me from Bungie, Activision, Nintendo. That's right, the CEO you can't get rid of. That's me. And Daddy Pete's gonna show you. That's what I'm gonna show you. How to sell a game here at the Game Awards. You all excited? That's right, you're ready to buy our shit. So let's get this party started. This is how you sell a game. Highguard, the biggest, baddest game you done ever seen. That's right. This is going to be a game that you're going to goon to. That's right. The biggest, baddest thing. Better than Call of Duty. That is absolutely right. So big that this game player will get you laid. That's right. That's bold claims, but that's what this game's going to do. It's going to make you popular with the ladies. If you ever wanted a motorboat, the perfectly balanced tits of Sydney Sweeney, now's your time, baby. That's right. Trust me. You're going to get all the ladies when you mount up on that beautiful horse and you look like motherfucking Fabio. That's right. They're going to think you majestic as fuck. That's right, you little nerd losers. This game's going to make you a winner. You're going to mount up to victory. Buy Highguard today.
Whoa. Hold up. As the developers of Highguard, this is not what we intended. We didn't sign up. Jeff, who is this guy? We didn't sign up. Our game does not advertise any of that.
Bitches. You all want bitches? Buy Highguard and you'll get all the bitches. Because Highguard is the sexiest game you've ever seen. I'll see you at the end of January. Mount the fuck up and bring your money, bitch.
Highguard, from the creators who brought you Apex Legends and Titanfall. Or, it would have been, but they've apparently changed the header for the game. I'm guessing EA lawyers got involved with this one, huh? Anyways, comes a brand new breed of shooter. That's their words, not mine. Which just so happens to be a Frankenstein of multiple other games pitched together. Scholars, welcome to the counselor's office. Listen, this is a brutally honest review, so I'm going to tell you how it is. This game has had a lot of attention. All of it mostly negative. Like, let's be honest here. I've not seen more hate since, well, Concord. And maybe Dragon Veil. And maybe a little bit of Assassin's Creed Shadows. But this one takes the cake. Jeff Keighley, while I'm sure had good intentions, put a bounty on this poor studio's head when they placed it front and center at the Game Awards with the final slot of the show, which is usually held for the biggest announcement, second to the Game of the Year, right?
The deviation for us for TGAs was interesting. Jeff is a friend of the studio. We've known him for a long time, back in the Titanfall days, and Jeff came in and played the game, and he was blown away. Yeah. He asked us to be a part of the TGAs and do something, kind of special by putting this kind of game there in an indie studio. And quite frankly, we were honored to, we've got big franchises in our past, but nobody knows who Wildlight is. So to be on the stage in the biggest show with so many other known games and devs felt like an honor.
It's even worse when you find out that this Wildlight, the developer of Highguard, plan to shadow drop this poor game? Now, let's be honest. This game honestly probably got more people to jump in and play it because of Jeff. But I don't think Jeff has been helping this game at all by putting more gas on the fire with his quirky little Jurassic Park tweets. Like, come on, dude. Read the fucking room. You're not helping the situation. You can enjoy it, but like, you're trying to convince like a tsunami. Just stop. Don't keep swimming. Do I think this game is a Concord 2.0? Absolutely not. This game would have never been compared to Concord if it was shadow dropped. In fact, it probably would have picked up less players, and it would have been a more niche game like every other indie game that's released. Except unless you pop off like Expedition 33. Most likely, this would have been a game that either survived with a niche community or it would have faded into the background like every other game that we've probably had, and you probably don't even remember because it was that irrelevant. I've got a confession to make, though. Listen, gotta be honest with you. It's time to confess.
Please, take a seat, my child. This is a safe passage for you. Be at peace, for the Lord listens and the Lord forgiveth. This is a safe place for you to confess thy sins. Now, my son, speaketh. What brings you here? Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. That's right, Father, I've sinned. I had to get it off my chest. I like Highguard. It's fun. It's competitive. It makes me get competitive. I get toxic, which doesn't really happen unless it's a really shitty game or it's a game that I'm really getting into. Forgive me, my son, but I believe you said you liked Highguard. What the fuck is wrong with you? I like Highguard. I'm sorry. I know. Can I please be forgiven? Please? Please, can I be forgiven for liking this game? Well, I am afraid, my son, that even the Lord cannot forgive such blasphemy. Such heinous behavior is a sin amongst men. That is right. Next, you'll confess to me and tell me you like Concord. Truly, an act against the gaming lords. Oh, no. Sir, with all disrespect, Father, Concord is a disaster. I wouldn't like Concord. And let's be honest, I like Highguard, but it's an average game, right? I'm not out here thinking this is like Halo 3. That's my favorite game, okay? Halo 3 is my favorite game. My son, there is only one thing to which will cleanse your soul for such blasphemy, such as liking Highguard. You must go out and speaketh the truth. No going out of your way. No going out and lying and deceiving. No longer shall you be blinded by propaganda, by PC Gamer and IGN. Go out and speaketh thy truth, and the truth will set you free. What, bitch? This is a brutally honest review. I was already going to be honest about it. You thought I was going to take this easy? Joke's on you, Father. I'm about to bring the roof up with my review. It's time to do this shit. Let's go, baby.
If you like something, and if you want it to be even better, it's okay to give criticism. I know Wild Thoughts, the Bungie fanboys over at Marathon, should get out of their cult and maybe give it a try once in a while. Or the cult of Activision and Call of Duty. Maybe give that a try.
For the sweats, finally we get one. Dude, I know this is a fun game for people like me, and I know it's a fun game for like comp players and shit, and sweaty players, whatever, but like, I am not fully happy with the product that came out. I think the game is really, really good. The mode is really, really good, but like mouse smoothing, not enough video settings, not enough key binds, game crashes, low FPS, all of that stuff. Like, I just wish that stuff, like, if it came out like that, bro, but.
No matter how much I, or Astacross, or even Shroud, or Tim the Tatman likes this game, content creators and streamers can't always change the opinions of the wider gaming community.
I don't know. I do. Listen, will I play it again? I don't know, bro. It's like, take the chat out of it. Like, let's remove you guys. I probably would play this game again. But everyone's just like bitching, man. Like, it's so annoying. You know what I mean? Like, if I take the chat out, I'd probably check it out again, like play it again. I don't know.
Which will be very interesting to see how Marathon turns out. The gaming market ultimately decides the outcome of any game in the industry. It might not be fair, you might not like it, I might not like it, but that's the reality. As the consumer of video games, it's not the gamer's job to eat shit, or what the gamers overall deem as shit. Personally, I don't see Highguard as shit, which is fine. But I'm not about to go and chill out and try to convince people that you're wrong, that you have every right not to like something. In fact, you should be vocal about it. When we start accepting that every game that comes out, we accept it for what it is, and if we don't like it, guess what? We start getting, guessed it, Concords, Dragon Age, Velguard, Marathon. I mean, at this point, it's okay to not like something and to voice that, because the job of developers is to develop something for you to play, not them. Now, this is a brutally honest review, and I do like to go in a deep dive and kind of go through the flow and dissect things. If you know me, that's what I like to do. I don't like to do the IGN, here's a general thought, that's my review. I actually like to dive in, try different things, experiment, and give a more detailed explanation of what works and what doesn't work. And the same thing applies to Highguard. We're going to start with the game mode itself and kind of go base by base by base. So, talking about the game mode in general, we can break down each aspect by phases. And we'll see what each one does right and what each one does wrong. This game feels heavily inspired by Apex Legends, go figure, with a hero shooter aspect, while also feeling like baby's first MOBA. Also splashing in Rainbow Six Siege with the reinforcing the base and planting bombs. Also a splash of Minecraft. Yeah, I don't know about that one, Chief. Now, I say baby's first MOBA because it lacks many of the components of a MOBA. And the game is very simplistic, which makes you think it's intended for a casual audience. But the 3v3 creates a more competitive vibe, which would make sense in rank, which we know is going to come out eventually later. But it feels like this game mode doesn't really know what it wants to be, and it kind of just throws a bunch of ideas to the wall and hope that something sticks. Now, it is worth mentioning that this game technically has lore, but it's not in the game. The developer launched a trailer where they break down and explain the lore, but honestly, I've kind of forgotten what it was about. Something about a continent disappearing and reappearing.
Highguard is a lost continent that has suddenly re-emerged mysteriously, missing in action for hundreds of years, to the point where most people in this world don't even believe it's real.
Listen, my biggest pet peeve about video games, outside of like Elden Ring and Souls-like games where it's kind of acceptable, my pet peeve is if the lore isn't in the game or shown in a meaningful way, then it's poor game design. Like, I don't want to sit there and read lore tabs for core story content when it should be displayed and presented as you play the game. If I wanted to read a fucking book, I'd read a fucking book instead of playing a video game. Also, there's no campaign, which, yes, technically not every game needs a campaign, but this one only has one game mode, so it doesn't really have much going for it in the long run. We'll circle back around to that later. Let's talk about the map. I feel like a lot of the issues of this game mode are fueled by the map design. I've played all the maps, and I have to say they are really well designed, really cool, visually pretty and interesting to look at, like very epic. Some of them just, you might have a massive ass fortress in the background, and you're like, that's badass. However, there is a very glaring, undeniable, unmissable issue that you gotta kind of point out and be like, yeah, we need to talk about that. The maps are too damn big, at least for 3-for-3. These maps look like they were either intended for teams up to like 5v5 or 10v10 or a 3v3v3. Like, what's worse is that these maps have cool, unique, points of interest, but you generally have no reason to explore them because most of the loot is condensed in specific spots on the map. Unlike other games like Apex or Fortnite, where you can kind of find loot scattered everywhere, the loot is generally condensed to specific structures or tunnel/cave regions. And because the maps are so damn big, you rarely feel the pressure of running into enemies unless you go out yourself and hunt them. Now, let's go through each phase, like I said, of the game mode, and I'll be as specific as I can when we talk about it. So if I miss any details, it's either because I forgot, which, I make mistakes, or they just weren't really that important to the general review of the game. The beginning of each round starts with you reinforcing the walls like Rainbow Six Siege, or you can go upgrade your gear. Overall, reinforcing the walls seem, I'm gonna say it, pointless to me. Like, I feel like time could be better spent doing other things. Very rarely in a match does reinforcing a wall seem to matter because there's so many ways to destroy them. Abilities, guns, you can get explosives, you can get gadgets. Like, there's so many ways to destroy walls that it almost feels pointless.
Oh, hey guys, I just got done reinforcing our building. That's right, they're not going to be able to get through our walls now.
What walls, son? What kind of game are you playing? This is no time to be playing Bob the fucking Builder. Me and Timmy over here upgraded our guns. We're ready to go. What the hell are you done playing?
Yeah, it's part of the game, guys. It's super important. You gotta put up your walls and get them built up. That's right, it's super important.
He's funny. He think we gonna build walls. That's stupid.
Guys, where are you going? You're not gonna put your walls up? Come on, guys. Let's be a team.
The second phase of the round is the gear up phase. This has more going on with it. It also feels equally pointless in my opinion. It feels equally pointless. What I mean is you could spend time mining points like Minecraft or Fortnite, which, to be honest, you can skip the rocks 99% of the time. This should never be a mining simulator. It's not engaging, it's very boring, and honestly, during this time, you should have mobs. You should have, dragons or ogres, or like go into the whole medieval vibe, do something cool and unique, a PvE aspect leading into the PvP, or have a high value target on the map that if you kill, you get a crap ton of points for your team, and you can fight the other team before that. But unfortunately, it's relegated to just hitting blue rocks. Anyways, it feels pointless to go for those rocks because you get a ton of points for killing the opposing team, so why bother wasting your time mining for them? Unless you are in a situation where you desperately need them. I felt like I only had one round where I actually felt the need to actually have to mine out points. It's not that big of a deal. The rest of the time, you are running around, looting boxes, getting armor, horse saddles, guns, necklaces that give you a buff, but don't actually tell you how much of a buff you get. They just say, we do this generic thing. It decreases your time. How much time does it increase, Jim? Can you just tell us what it does? This phase lasts too long. There was no scarcity of loot, except if you're looking for a very specific weapon, then you might have an issue. Overall, I never felt like I struggled to have armor at any time. And if you already have the weapon that you want, this time is usually just a big waste of your time. Most of the time, you're just running around like, well, I've got the guns I want. I've got everything I need. So like, waiting for something magical to happen. It's boring and it's way too drawn out for no reason. So most of the time, it's just better off to go chase and try to hunt down the opposing team, even though it doesn't provide you any benefits unless you just want some extra points.
Alright guys, I made sure to buy up a bunch of points. Now I'm ready to go out and get upgraded.
Son, what the hell are you done talking about? You're playing Rock Simulator out here. Me and Timmy out here blasting some fools. That's right, we killed the enemy team like 5 times. They kept on raising their little China man, and I kept on going bam. And I went bam. You should have seen it. But you're too busy playing rocks. What's wrong with you, son?
But the whole point is for us to get points and then upgrade our gear. We're not supposed to go out and immediately fight the enemy team. That's not the point of the game right now.
This game's for babies. Listen here. We play first-person shooters to shoot some bastards, not to play Minecraft. That's not what we do here, okay? Let's get out of here, Timmy. Let's go kick some more ass. Okay.
But that is the point of the game, though. Guys, this is what we're supposed to do. It's literally part of the game.
The Shieldbreaker phase is where the game feels like it actually begins. I'm going to say this. I think the prep phase and the gear up phase should be completely removed. Just get it out of here. The Shieldbreaker phase should immediately start the game. You have the countdown for the sword to spawn. This phase starts with that countdown appearing on the map where the Shieldbreaker sword will spawn. I think having the round start with this phase immediately causes more challenges, more decision making, and causes players to strategize and decide over the risk and reward on what to do first. Gear up, go straight for the Swordbreaker, stay at your base, and let them come to you. I feel more decision making could be created from the suspense and the chaos that is just being thrown into the match. You have a limited time before the Swordbreaker spawns, and you have to jump in and figure it out.
Did anyone pick up the sword? We all just said, fuck killing dudes. We're gonna fuck them. We're gonna fuck shit up here. I got it.
But with how easy it is and how step by step each phase is, it's far too easy for everyone to be on an equal playing field, which is fine if you're wanting to have a casual experience. But this game is way too catered in how it's been developed to be more of a competitive game. Like, the game mode itself is not casual. It is very competitive. So if you wanted a casual game, you should have just made a generic FPS arena shooter. Removing those useless phases can take a 30-minute game and reduce it to 25, maybe even 20 minutes, which is a lot better in my opinion. Goal is simple in this phase. You pick up the Swordbreaker, you break the shield. That's it. It's like playing Capture the Flag, except instead of having the challenge of figuring out where the runner is, you can immediately tell where the player is because they have a big-ass dome around them. Part of the challenge should be trying to figure out where the sword runner is on the big-ass map, but it makes it even more pointless when you can see them a mile away. Also forgot to mention, you can get a care package that just randomly drops during this time. And it's usually on the Swordbreaker spawn, which is really weird. I feel like this should never be right on top of it because we need to have those decisions, those choices that make players actually have to decide and have some risk and reward. You want the care package, if it's across the map, you have to decide, do I want to stay by the Swordbreaker? Do I want to go for the care package? Do I want to gear up everywhere else? Decisions, making it far more interesting, and it doesn't make it feel like every round starts exactly the same way. Though I will say the care package does become increasingly pointless later in the game when you have legendary gear. All it gives you is like a bunch of purples and the LMG, which is good, but would I sit there and wait for it to and go for it? Not really. One last criticism about this phase, when you pick up the big ass sword, you can't even use it. Like, you should be able to fight with it and do a shit ton of damage, but lose like shield or something in exchange. What's the point of having a big ass cool sword if you do nothing with it? Hell, even in Halo, when you play capture the flag, you can beat the shit out of the opposing team with a flag. You can do that with the sword for some odd reason in Highguard.
Guys, I got it! I got the Shieldbreaker! Yes, in all its magnificence! Look how sexy this thing is! Oh my god, I'm gonna tell my mom about it later!
Alright, son. You better have a good goddamn reason why you're all the way over here in the fucking side of the map, and I had to wait because Timmy's dead in the corner. I reckon I might as well come over here and see what you're yee-hawing about. Now tell me, what the hell does that little doohickey even do?
What do you mean?
Well, consider you're out here screeching like a goddamn hyena getting fucked sideways. I figure I'd ask the question that we're all wondering. Does it do anything special or anything useful that would cause you to come the way out here to pick it up?
No?
Can you at least use it as a melee weapon to take out your enemies?
No?
Then what the hell is that oversized butter knife good for? Because it sure ain't spreading anything on any enemy cheeks, that's for sure.
Well, you see, it has the important job. And you shove it in the hole, and it breaks the shield. Isn't that awesome?
That's gotta be the dumbest thing I've ever heard. You know what? Screw this. Pick up your oversized dildo and let's get this game over with. Daddy's gotta go get him some beer and motorboat some titties. I'll just tell you what, that's right. Get this shit over with.
Now we go to the last phase. The raiding phase is the final part of the game mode. And honestly, this is probably not only the more interesting part, but also the unique and fun part. When I say unique, it's literally Rainbow Six Siege of planting the bomb, but mixed in with the hero shooter vibes. And also the raid mechanics of you only have limited spawns as an invader. This phase can happen naturally through the team using the Shieldbreaker to start it, or if a team fails to activate the Shieldbreaker on the opposing team, the team that failed will have the raid start on their base instead.
Get ready! Siege tower coming in!
You gotta play those fucking games where they try to guess where the fuck you are. Bitch. Knock, knock, motherfucker.
One thing to know about this game mode, it does have a lot of back and forth if you fail to advance on your side, and you will often cause damage to your own base, which is meant to limit the time constraints. It feels a little weird, but at the same time, it's good to contain and you're not playing like 2-hour games because of it. You can also skip multiple raid phases by simply being successful in the Swordbreaker phase, and you can also just get lucky by killing the enemy team multiple times and do damage that way. You don't always have to end the game by successfully blowing up the base. You can just straight up get kills and you can still win. You win the game either by blowing up both A and B bombs, or you can go straight for the main crystal, which will just straight up end the game. Apparently, not too many people are aware of the main crystal in the middle. Most often, they go for A or B just to score some points. Which is good to know that if you fail to blow up both bombs, as long as you blow up one, you do not take any damage to yours, but you do damage to your opponent. This mode is very similar to Rainbow Six Siege or CSGO. Plant the bombs, blow them up. If you fail, like I said, you will lose HP if you fail to blow up any of the bombs when you initiate the raiding phase. Raiders do have a limited amount of lives, which does balance it out, but it also requires teamwork because one teammate can waste all your lives. Go figure. Overall, I think this is part of the game. I think it's fine and is the fastest part of the whole game, right? I don't feel like much is needed to change here, personally.
Dude, this gun is actually... What the fuck is going on here? Wait, where the fuck did you go? Did you just run away? Don't mind if I do. Oh, that's not what I want to do. Well, we'll just blow everything the fuck up, shall we? Just let's blow everything the fuck up.
Firing up now. Soul purged. Another. Some of this hot weak.
Bitch.
Ready to bring the heat.
Sucks, I can't do shit here. Get fucked!
Weeks.
One hell of a fight. Secured? Great work, team.
Bro! Get fucked!
Alright, moving on, let's dive into the characters that you'll be playing, which are split into 5 types. Assault, Defensive, Destructive, Recon, and Support. You've got Atticus, Condor, Redmond, Kai, Scarlet. To me, she seems like a fine, saucy redhead. Then there's Mara, Una, and Slade. Now, I'm skipping through every little piece of information on their abilities and their kits, mostly because most of these characters are generic and their kits are weak. Only a handful of characters really seem good enough, and I know that alone is subjective, but when it comes to games where character design matters, this is not one of them. I feel like you could see a tune-up on each character so they feel more impactful to the overall game. Let's talk about Gunplay. This is a game made by the creators or former creators of Apex and Titanfall. So gameplay is top notch, right? Right? This is going to be very controversial and also seem contradictory, but I'll explain it as best as I can. I feel like Marathon, I did the play test, has better gunplay than Highguard. However, I have more fun with Highguard's gunplay than Marathon's. One part of that is Highguard has some interesting looking weapons that don't feel too bad, but most of the weapons are very generic, so they're safe. They're safe, right? So that's one of the things. This is a very generic FPS that's playing it safe. They're not doing anything wrong, but they're not really doing anything right. Whereas Marathon, it feels like you're shooting with Roblox or Lego guns, which is funny because the ex-art director described them in that manner. Highguard weapons don't really excel at anything, and they don't stand out in any particular way. They're still really fun to shoot, but they're still generic. Sniping feels very nice and is satisfying.
Fuck you, bitch. How you like that? cocksucker.
But loot itself is mostly pointless, especially since there are no modifications outside of rarity, which everyone upgrades their gear at the same time. More on that in a minute. There's no diversity. If you see a blue auto rifle and you pick it up and you open up 20 chests and you see more blue auto rifles, there is nothing that separates those guns from the guns you already have. It creates a system where looting becomes pointless. Now, it would make sense if this was a battle royale, right? And everything is just up in arms, though most battle royals have a plethora of guns, whereas Highguard has a very limited pool of weapon selection, which does make it more apparent when you see 20 blue auto rifles that do nothing different. There's nothing that separates them. It creates a system where looting, again, feels pointless, much quicker, especially since you don't lose your weapon. See, that's the big thing about like Fortnite. In Fortnite and Apex, you lose your gear when you die. This game, you don't. So it makes it even more of a challenge to appreciate the loot pool. Except for the LMG. You do lose that if you die in Highguard. Not to mention, only a handful of guns feel good. Furthermore, there isn't that many weapons, like I said, which is a sour point. It's really weird coming from ex-Apex creators who know what gun customization, they know what it looks like. It's really weird. Ammo feels also pointless. I don't think I ever ran out of any kind of ammo except the care package LMG. Might as well just make all guns infinite ammo like most hero shooters. I never ran out. And honestly, I never paid attention to the ammo count outside of what, when to reload. I'm pretty sure you get a bunch of ammo from killing your opponents, and I'm only noticing this after reviewing footage. Mounts. Let's talk about the mounts. Are unique, a unique spin for the FPS, but are neither bad nor good in this game. They are needed to cover all the dead space on the map, but they really don't do anything special. Mounts, in my opinion, should provide unique interactions other than just using them as a super sprint mechanic, which is essentially what it is.
Mr. Game Counselor currently editing. I forgot to completely mention one very important aspect about the loot and the guns. At the end of essentially the game, when you start getting legendary tier, guns do transform into like a new version of themselves, which generally is cool. But still, my thoughts on not being able to modify them as you go still very, very clearly is an issue. Though I do want to shout out that when they do reach their final version, legendary version at close to the end of the game, the guns do get more interesting, which is a shame because that's how they should have been from the get-go, in my opinion.
Now, let's talk about some miscellaneous things, right? There's a bunch of small things that were either, in my opinion, are worth talking about, and I might be missing other things, so you can comment down below, and I'll try to reply and what my thoughts are on that. But here we are. Unlike other games, this game regenerates your shields that are broken, unless you straight up get killed. And we'll explain that in a minute. Allowing you to keep your gun ready. So if you're in a fight, your shields are broken, you hide in a corner, your shield auto-generates, and you're completely focused on the gunplay and not having to worry, no healing is needed, no pots like Fortnite or Apex. As I said before, killing opponents gives you points, but you can also finish off your opponent's orb so they can't be revived by teammates, and you guessed it, you get more points for doing that. All these points make farming rocks pointless, and again, just remove the rocks. We don't need to play Minecraft. There is no safe spawns. If you spawn and an opposing team rolls up, even before you spawn, you're just dead. I'm not talking about being revived or skyrocketing down into your enemy's base. I'm talking about on your base where you're being raided, you spawn in, you're immediately dead if they know where you're at. You can literally get spawn capped in the middle of a raid on your base and you have no time to react, which makes no sense to me. I feel like there should be an invulnerability window so that you can have a fighting chance. Especially in the raid, it feels awful to get spawn capped. Lastly, as I had previously mentioned, everyone ranks up at the same time. At the end of the game, everyone has legendary armor, legendary saddles, legendary guns, and it feels like there's no challenge, like there's no punishment. And I feel like that defeats the purpose of gearing up, and it also takes away from the fact that I don't need to worry about points, because if I go out and find chests, everything's automatically upgraded to legendary at the end of the game. It doesn't make sense to me. It defeats the purpose of like the care package. It defeats the point of mining for points. And like, why? Well, I know, again, this goes to, it makes it feel like everyone has to be balanced, like this game is meant for casuals, but it's not, because the game mode is actually very competitive. So it's like, who is this game for? Last but not least, let's talk about that monetization. I know, I shit on games like Bungie and Activision all the time about their shitty microtransactions. And you know, I'm actually okay with the micros in this game. I know, that's a little surprising, but you've got to remember, this game is 100% free, and I'm okay with a free-to-play game using microtransactions to fund themselves. That makes complete sense. You got to make money somehow, especially if they're just cosmetic. I'm okay. It's not like Bungie, who's trying to tell you it's a free-to-try game and selling you product while also trying to get you to buy cosmetics. Like, that's double dipping. Activision does it too. It's greedy. Fuck off, right? But this is a free-to-play game, so I'm okay with the micros. And to be honest, this is a very generous game in regards to cosmetics. Like, truly, very generous. They gave the first battle pass, or war chest as they call it, for free, which is something to give praise for in an industry that wants you to shut up and give them your money. Like, we got to give praise for, even if you don't like the game, you've got to give praise for them doing the right things. Highguard also does something that I wasn't expecting. They have multiple ways to get free cosmetics. That's right, you heard me, free. The first is the trader, who you can buy cosmetics from in exchange for currency you earn by doing dailies and weekly challenges. It's not reinventing the wheel or anything, but at least you're not paying $10 for a color pack that looks like Krabby Patties. Furthermore, Highguard has quests that ask you to go on mini challenges that allow you to unlock more cosmetics. Even at the end of the little quest track, you get a legendary cosmetic, which is more than what other games usually do. You usually have to pay for those legendaries. It's a shame that a game like Highguard actually has fair microtransactions and is being mauled to death by the wider gaming community. And I do feel bad for the developers, as I don't think they tried to make this game like to be as popular as Arc Raiders, but I also don't think they expected to be treated like dog shit.
This is Mr. Gaming Counselor editing, putting this in here. Another situation I forgot to mention was that this game does have a lot of performance issues in general, and I don't want to be like, oh, that's not a big deal, because obviously performance is always a key part in a game feeling good. But I want to mention that overall, I do think that was something that will be fixed, whereas I think other aspects of the game definitely need attention for sure.
It's not like they're Bungie, who is just a piece of shit to their consumer and community, or Activision. Overall, those studios deserve to be shit on. This is a brand new studio, and I don't think they deserve as much hate as they've gotten. Though, let's be fair, when you classify yourself as the creators of Titanfall and Apex Legends, and you promote that this is a brand new breed of shooter, you are signing yourself up for a little bit more criticism than you probably bargained for. flying too close to the sun does eventually get you burned. My final thoughts on Highguard. It feels too generic and undercooked to be a full game. This game feels like a single game mode rather than the entire game. But no, Highguard is supposed to be a finished product, but I would have treated it like an early access in my opinion. And maybe they could still do that. Maybe they could put it in early access and let it cook, take feedback, and improve on the game. And then re-release it later. But I'm going to be honest, I think the damage is done. I think the reputation has already been set in stone. People are claiming the gravestone of this game as Concord 2. But you know what? People enjoy shitty, average horror movies because they're so bad that sometimes they're fun. And I think Highguard is I don't think it's that bad, but I do think it's okay to enjoy average games.
It looks so retarded. Kill me! I don't know what it was. What the fuck? It's like it's what? It's not. Is it gremlins? Is that what they're called? Yeah, it's like a gremlin and a Furby had sex and came up with that little bastard.
You can start by firing your weapon. Go ahead. Take some shots.
It's so stupid.
Sure, we all want 10 out of 10s. We should absolutely want the best games possible, but you can have some guilty pleasure in enjoying some average games. I don't think that there's a rule that you can't enjoy a game that everyone else hates, but you're not going to see me try to convince you that you're wrong. You're not going to see me try to tell you the Highguard is the next Arc Raiders. You're not going to see me do that, but you are going to see me probably dabble and play with it and have a good time when I can. But outside of that, I'm Mr. Gaming Counselor. This has been my brutally honest review. Yes, I said a lot of critiques, and overall you'd think I would hate the game, but it's a guilty pleasure. It has problems, but damn, when you start getting into the heat of it, I have a good time. I enjoyed my time playing Highguard. I know, I'm the scholar of the first sin, Mr. Gaming Counselor here, and I will see you guys in the next brutally honest review. Until next time, don't forget to game out, and I'll see you in the next one. Game out.
See, that's how you make a proposition. That's how you sell stuff to these losers out here in the crowd. You're never gonna make them, you gotta make them eat out of their hand like it's a goddamn petting zoo. Wait, was this thing on? Whoops, gotta go.